Ich lass mich heute Abend blicken, ich komm gut geschmückt in den Laden geritten. Alle tanzen, die Damen sind echt entzückend, ganzes Backblech voller Sahne.
Hey, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I'm Kerry, Nosy Housefrau. I'm sorry, I'm a little giddy this morning. Maybe you'll figure out that I'm kind of a morning person. I'm not a morning, noon, or night person anymore, but kind of morning. And it occurred to me that I left out an entire chunk of the video that I was doing last night when I was editing. It was just the reason why I made the video, so not that important. And I was sitting here getting my thoughts together and playing with this palette that I got for free. I'll tell you about that one. And I just thought I've got to chime in on this again. So I apologize if that did make it seem disjointed in any way. It was a long enough video. Today I'm going to talk about what I left out, and it has to do with the Younow stream between Monn and Paige. And by the way, I got two new Gerard Cosmetics colors. The one I'm wearing right now is Everything Nice, and I really like it. And I love this one, which is Madison Avenue. I was wearing this first, but it has kind of an apricot look to it. It's gorgeous, like a creamy apricot. That's the worst swatch ever done. I can't move my arm good. Anyway, let's just show you this way. See how gorgeous it is? I kind of slopped it up, but it's so gorgeous. Her makeup glides on. I do love Jen, but her makeup is quality, and that cannot be denied. And the reason I took off the apricot was because I kind of have those colors in my eyeshadow, and I wanted a contrasting color and not a matchy poo-poo color. So back to this Revolution Makeup Palette, Makeup Revolution of London, Fierce as Fire. If you order this other palette, oh, I gotta look it up. Emily something. It was a palette that my friend Jamie, Glowing Beauty Addiction, wanted, and she had a little trouble getting it shipped to her because she lives in a foreign country also, like a lot of people, and I guess she has trouble getting mail to there. It's Canada or something like that. If I'm being honest, I don't know the names well, and I don't even know the consonants real good. So anyway, this came free with the palette that I sent her just because I love her so much. And I've really been having fun playing with it. I'm kind of obsessed with this thought of end of summer colors. Like as we move into fall and our makeup's going to change a little bit, although you can wear what you want anytime. We tend to wear these darker colors in autumn, and this is kind of a great end of summer look in my opinion. It's kind of moving into fall. You could wear this with a dark shirt or a light shirt, but it's kind of that sun setting thing that I find so apropos. Anyway, Revolution Fierce as Fire came free. Look at the size of this thing. I'll put up a picture of the one that I sent Jamie that came with it. I had it shipped here, and then I sent it to Canada to her. And this is just a really fun palette to play with. You can see all of the different colors. Maybe I should swatch it out. I'm being lazy, but I want to get to the drama too. But you can see, without me even swatching, you can see there's like a beautiful orange, a red, there's pinks, and you could play with just these taupes and light gold colors. This is probably the only one I haven't really used. Love that white. Anytime I see a bright white on a palette, I get really excited about it because I want to wear, okay, yeah, you can see that really good. Considering my skin tone is kabuki white, that's not very helpful. Hey, Rich Lutz, can I borrow your model? I need something to swatch on. And the views. Anything for views. So anyway, this I think was a really awesome deal. I told Jamie, I said, I'll tell you what, I'll send you that palette and I'll keep the free palette. Done. And if you like makeup, you really need to follow Jamie. She knows her stuff, as does Beauty Boomer Rose, who has a great channel. And I'll put their links below too. If you love makeup, you're going to love these gals. Okay, so I took a quick break, had to run hubby out, and now that I've got fresh coffee, most important meal of the day, I can get back to the tea. This Younow video, first of all, let me just say I really appreciated all of the civility and different opinions under my last video. Certainly, this is a complicated situation, and given our limited knowledge of it and what we think of these people, there's a whole bunch involved. So I really appreciated how everybody maintained that. Almost everybody. There's always one, right? But I really appreciated that. and continue to please feel free to put your comments below. Now, I did wake up to somebody telling me that they had been attacked by somebody else, and so they deleted their comment. I don't know if it was the same single crazy person that was in here. It might have been. So please note that I do monitor my comments. My channel is small enough that I can just delete all day if I want to, and I read everything, and your comments really are so much fun. It's why I do this. Most of you express yourself in the comments better than I can in my videos. Please don't get vlogs. I'll be out of business. Oh, that's right. I don't make any money from this. Go ahead and vlog. And lunch is a flatbread, spinach and herb, like heirloom tomatoes with a couple of dollops of mozzarella pizza. Gourmet pizza from the Costco. This channel might just become permanent mukbang. So I watched the live stream exchange again, which I will link below. I wanted to see if there was something I missed, something that I needed to make a mental note of, or if I had a different perspective on it. And it was hard to watch again because it even starts out feeling like it's just largely a misunderstanding. And it's, you know, two people who, you know, are not on the same page about what their conflict is. A lot of it was hard because Peter, before he could work anything out, he needed to unleash everything that was on his chest. For a lot of people, this was aggressive and wrong and a side of him that disappointed people. They didn't like that side of him. Personally, I think everybody has the potential to have that side of him. We've all had moments where we're not acting our best. None of us, I think, as it can say, they've lived a life without any kind of a conflict, right? However, when Petty Paige was so patient with him, refusing to go to that same place, refusing to be dragged into a conflict against her will, she stood her ground that way. Really admired that about her. I like to think I do the same, and I can think of a time just 6 months ago when I did, but I'll get back to me later. Peter was relentlessly unleashing on her, and some of the things he was saying weren't things you could respond to. People were like, well, she wasn't saying anything. What do you say when somebody says, you've had a lot to say? Yeah, you don't? You have 15 channels. I think you have a lot to say. But of course, what Peter meant was Petty Paige had a lot to say about him on her recent tweets. He felt that she was coming for him in her tweets, and it really hurt him, and in an emotional state, and in the wake of losing a friend. Let's face it, he had, you know, the perfect storm of having a hard time. He unleashed on her. And then when she was calm, he continued to unleash on her. He let her have it with both barrels instead of calming himself down. When you do that, even when you're right, you're going to be wrong. I promise you, people will not consider what you have to say when they are that put off by the way you're saying it. So I think Petty was very patient. There were people who said they'd leave, etc. At one point, Peter says, and you got Josephine in here. I don't even know who that is. There were a lot of people in there. There were a lot of people talking. And there were a lot of people supporting him. But he noticed her friend who was on her side. The person he doesn't know, but then says, you got her in here. As this is a problem because now he's making Petty Paige responsible for what's going on in the chat. It's far too easy for people to misdirect their anger when they see allies of people they're in conflict with commenting on them, and they take it as coming exactly from that source. Josephine and Petty are friends, but they are two different people, okay? And that should have been completely left out of the conversation, in my opinion. And I really have to ask once again, why is it that the comments that are negative towards Peter stand out to him so much more than his landslide of support? You know, he did thank people in his last video for, he said, if you still watch me, you know, I thank you. I think it goes beyond that. I think you should say, I'm so grateful for those of you who see me, who make me feel like you know me and you like me. I'm grateful for you. And you're the voice I want to keep in my head. Okay. He will get back to a healthier place, but this was just not someone that you typically see. Take into consideration that he's devastated over the loss of his friendship with Dustin, which I still think is not beyond repair, by the way. So again, in the videos he's had coming out since then, he's talking a lot about his feelings, a lot about how he's hurting, a lot about how he's trying to get through. And maybe that's what he needs to do. But it really would go a long way if he would talk about caring about other people's feelings. Don't just talk about how you're going to get through, how you're moving forward. Okay, your viewers are there for you, and that is definitely his therapy, vlogging. But don't forget to mention other people. I don't know, maybe there's kind of a way to grow into having the kind of popularity that Peter has. And maybe he's not aware of the extra steps you have to take to show empathy. Now, I'm not saying you have to campaign or explain yourself, but don't forget your manners. Don't forget to show that side of yourself. And if it's there and people are accusing you of not having it, there's ways that you can be better about revealing that side of yourself. So I thought, overall, there was a lot of misunderstandings. And Petty, I think, properly apologized for the way that, she was going off on Twitter. Could have been better. The both of them at the end did apologize to each other. And it could have been not an if or a but or if I hurt you. But again, this is in the heat of the moment. That's pretty good. If you can, while somebody just went off on you, if you can still feel empathy for them, you really have empathy. Okay, so now I finally get to why I really made this video, the catalyst for all of this, and what I think is still unfolding to a degree. And maybe there are some gaps in my education people can help fill in. But according to what I saw on that timeline, during the heated exchange with Peter and Petty, never mind. Yup, I got a cuckoo stream of consciousness going. So during that exchange, several times, while things were tense, Peter would say, so how do we fix this? He would blast her and go, so how do we coexist? How do we move on? Dear God. This has not been my best joke. Peter said to Petty, how do we fix this? How do we move on? At the time, I was inwardly cringing. It was awkward for me because that's putting somebody on the spot. You're saying these horrible things, you're having this exchange and then going, so how do we fix this? And then putting that burden on her when her head is probably reeling and she's still processing all of this. You are miles away from even seeing the shoreline of resolving this. And it's just not the right time to ask that question because obviously it's going to take time. I mean, it's just inappropriate to ask it and then to keep asking it. And she didn't really have an answer. There isn't one. I mean, if anything, you would say, look, that's just not something on the table right now. Let's take this one day at a time. Let's, bring this conversation to a conclusion, and we can revisit this after we've had some time to deliberate about this exchange, which is, something that I think we're both going to need to put behind us, just like everything else. I mean, asking somebody how to fix it is really awkward. He did say, what can I do? But really, what are you proposing when you say you want to fix it? Do you want to just coexist, which is how I think he put it? That's a whole lot different than how do we mend fences and repair our friendship because I like you. I don't want to be at odds with you because I think you're great. That's different. That's an exchange. I think it would be better to say, I really have a desire to fix this. And I hope we can. And that's all you can do in that moment is hope for the best. You can't demand that those things be fixed right then and there any more than you can demand that a wound on your body heal immediately. These things take time. You can use that wound healing analogy if you really like it. I swear I'm not drunk. I'm just cracking myself up. Anyway, this is the important thing. Stop distracting me. After this exchange, wanting to fix it so many times, I wake up the next day and I see that Alex, Peter's husband, has put a subtweet out, very obvious subtweet, saying, I'm thinking of doing a drama channel so I can call out these losers, and I'm paraphrasing, but you can find this tweet easy, saying that he would call out these losers. What? You know what? I was taken aback. And not a lot takes me aback. But I could not even believe I looked at the thing, you know, was half awake, and I just shot up in my bed like, what? Who said what? This was right after How Do We Fix This? He was telling her in this online Ustream, in this Younow Ustream, he was telling her, I swear it's just Diet Coke, made from the best stuff on earth. I should have got the caffeinated kind. But anyway, in this exchange, after he's asking her, how do we fix this? How do we get things back on track? Whatever. How do we coexist? He lets his husband put out that tweet. And I say lets his husband because although neither one of these people have control over what the other's fans or friends are saying or doing, you know damn well you have an influence over what your spouse does. Betty Paige has been married for 5 minutes, and I bet she knows that too. If my husband posted something like that, I'd be like, what are you doing? You're just going to make things worse for me. And that's true. If you love someone, don't make things worse for them by perpetuating a conflict because you need to win and support them. The best thing you would do to support them is say something less aggressive that doesn't call somebody out specifically. Don't subtweet somebody. If your husband needs for this to go away, anybody, if your spouse needs for something to go away, don't give in to the temptation to defend them tooth and nail. Think about what really is best to help it go away and still be supportive. People, do not tweet in when you are emotional. Wait till later. Resist the urge to put people on blast. You will never regret taking the high road, I promise you. Now, I really would be remiss if I didn't tell you that I tend to be vocal when I like somebody and they do something that I find disappointing. Not that they live for my approval, of course. Probably couldn't give a rat's ass what this housefrau thinks, but the point is, on my channel, I'm going to talk about people I like and don't like, but typically I tend to get more upset if it's somebody I like who did something that disappoints me. And I really do like Peter. For a long time, I've been a card-carrying member of the Wolfpack. Got the Gimlet's Jane mug. I don't know why that cracks me up, but it does. And, you know, I got this. And I have to say, whether you think it's PR or not, anytime I've ever reached out to Peter for a comment or for anything, he's always been receptive and gotten back to me right away. Not everybody can say that. So if that's just part of showbiz, he's the hardest working man in showbiz. He's got all these channels. He's got all these dishes spinning on the sticks. He's very ambitious. He has to keep going. He lives at like a high frequency. And I think that because of this, I have to point out a time that like 5 minutes ago occurred to me that I completely forgot about. And now I feel kind of shitty. I was trying to think of a video I've seen of his that could show that Peter has empathy, because that hasn't been put out there, largely because Peter does use his channel as a cathartic means of giving himself therapy. And because of that, I think he has overlooked maybe some of showing his more empathetic side and being less about me, more about you, right? Some people tend to always say, here I am, and sometimes you have to say, there you are. And I was racking my brain trying to think of a time, and I know he's been nice to people, of course, but then I remembered something, and I didn't even have to go through the videos to do it. A few months back, I quit my job. That's a good video. You're going to like that one. And I left my job, and I said, I got to cut some bills here and there, and I was subscribed to him on Younow, and I had to end that subscription. And I thought, if that was me, I might feel bad, wondering why did I lose somebody. So I sent him a quick note on Twitter saying, look, just want to let you know I have temporarily unsubscribed to you because I'm cutting corners and money's a little tight now because I lost my job, or left my job. And I didn't really think he'd get back to me, but I just felt good putting that out there because, I mean, I figured, maybe he's busy, even though he gets back to people. Maybe he just, whatever. At least I did the right thing. I put that out there so I didn't have to worry about somebody having a little anxiety over losing a subscriber. And Peter wrote me back a nice letter. I don't know that he even knows who I am, but he wrote me back this nice DM, and he did not care that I was no longer subscribed to him. He just said, I hope you're okay. Hope everything's okay with you, and seemed genuinely concerned. So, for me to not remember that off the top of my head, he said, I have to do a little reflecting, because here I'm saying, where's his empathy? Where's his empathy? I'm looking to see signs of empathy with other people, and he directed empathy directly at me. and I didn't remember. All right, I'm sorry. I apologize. All right, I'll say it seriously. I really am sorry. That wasn't serious. We'll try that again. All right, I was a shithead. I should have remembered that. That was really nice. He didn't have to do that. He has a lot more humans following him and a lot more going on, but he took the time to say, I hope everything's okay with you. And so the guy does have empathy. It's not always going to be on the radar. I try to take into consideration the fact that I don't know what it's like to have that many subscribers. Do you? I mean, how many people are tugging on your sleeve? And it's still new to him because he rose in the ranks, in the last year, his channel really exploded. And I've been watching him 4 years, almost since the beginning. I was lurking on his channel. And then I think he had like around 5,000 subscribers. I just wanted to say, after watching that whole video, I can see why people are so divided in the way that they see everything. But ultimately, I think that maybe we could all learn something about communication, about letting things go, about trying to not jump to conclusions about people's motives. It's so hard to have friendships on YouTube when fame and other things get involved, and maybe when you have a lot of people that you're trying to get back to everybody, and you have hundreds of emails and you're trying to get back to everybody, maybe you didn't pay attention to something you should have been paying attention to, and were a little more careless with someone's feelings, not out of malice, but out of being wrapped up in your own shit a little bit too much. Something to think about anyway. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for watching this far. Thank you to all of you new subscribers. I hope I don't offend you too soon. Stick around. As always, I don't speak for everyone, just everyone who wants to be right. So saith a Hausfrau. I was kind of wrong about this pizza. If you ever eat something and the first bite seems, oh, this is kind of different, this is good, and then by the third or fourth you're like, nope, I was wrong. It's an acquired distaste. I now have an aversion. Oh, I'm still going to eat it. It's food in front of me.